all right. You're live. Welcome, everybody, to Code Hangout number 134, where we're going to look into some new animations. So this is for the new app Gas Rise that I'm working on, codename Gas Rise. And I'm kind of trying to figure out a nicer way of transitioning the user into and out of a puzzle and in between puzzles and things like that. And I've been kind of struggling with that, and I didn't like what I had. And I think it's time to really kind of crank up the user interface a little bit. And hopefully, if this proves itself out in the app, it will also make itself back into the web app further down the line. So I think today I'm going to work mostly on sort of generic tools so I can start experimenting, because I don't have a specific plan. So last time or in this week, I've worked a little bit on page-to-page sliding animations. And they didn't come out as well as I had hoped. So the idea being that instead of just, I click something and a new screen pops up, it would actually slide the old screen off to the side and bring in the next one from the side. So today I'm actually going to think of sort of the end of puzzle dialogue, which might not just be a dialogue, but just like a full screen overlay. And I'll maybe prototype that a little bit today as well. And then I think the idea is that kind of, I don't know if you've ever noticed that in video games, especially arcade games. I'm thinking back to like the original Doom. Like as you finish the level, it kind of counted up the different counters, like how many kills, how many scores, blah blah blah, right? So I'm thinking, since we have at least 2 or 3 bits of information, like the time and kind of the par time, how you performed overall, and so on and so forth, I kind of want to just bring them in from the side, like slide, boom. Because I feel like just popping a dialogue with like 5 different bits of information, especially if I relate it to how it is currently on the app, on the web app. Yeah, like this. I feel like when the dialogue pops up, it might just be too much information. Not this one. So if I like just auto solve it, there's like 4, 5, 6 different bits of information, and they're not all really related. And a lot of people might miss something here. You have the support link, you have the replay save, which is like, kind of want like a separate menu to pop that up. They have the counter, you have the like, you have the okay. Like, it's really messy, and I don't like it. And I'd like to have a better way of doing that. And I'm gonna prototype that here in the app. So initially, I'm just gonna work on a basic framework to make this stuff easy. And I think before I do that, the first step before that is I want to kind of modify the dialogue. I think I've done something like that for the pack testing, right? So I think if I go to test pack 2, yeah. So this is really just the dialogue, but with like custom styling. So I want to look at that. Let's bring up the pack feature, which is pretty much still under development. It's not really ready for use. But I think the next sort of major evolution for SudokuPad is kind of dealing with not just individual puzzles, but groups of puzzles, such as puzzle packs, puzzle hunts, and just a discovery surface. What do you want to play next, and kind of guiding the player from one puzzle to the next. Like I'm serving about 40,000 players every day, but everybody just comes for the one puzzle that they had to find somewhere else, right? And the next step is to kind of say, hey, you enjoyed that? Here's the next one, right? Next in the series, next in the pack, next by this setter, next whatever, right? So I am looking for the puzzle pack thingamajig here, and it shouldn't be too crazy complicated. So we have handle show dialogue, and I think all we're doing here is we're opening a standard dialogue with a overlay class, and then we have the overlay class. We have the overlay class kind of styled a little bit. So I'm gonna bring that down here for reference. And then we're gonna go into here. And I think, actually, there's nothing here. We can just get rid of that. We are going to hijack the dialogue that shows when you finish a puzzle. So we have the start dialogue, show dialogue correct. So this dialogue is currently what pops up. This thing, right? And we're gonna go in here return. And let's just clear the log. Save that, clear the log. And we'll do that. And here, show like in dialogue. Okay, so it's already breaking some things. Because it expects a dialogue to exist, and it doesn't exist. And that's something I actually need to change in the core code. But it's, we'll do that in a moment. Or later. Or not at all. Down the line. So, let us bring in something like this. Here, just some sort of quick dialogue that doesn't have a lot of things in it. And that doesn't rely on anything else. So here we have a div. I'm just gonna give it some content. Dialogue content, and then we'll just have the close button. And for now, we're just gonna do this, and then overlay, overlay class, overlay puzzle correct. And I'm gonna look up. So here we have these styles, and that should be all there is to it. So I can inject those via, I think via the puzzle page HTML injection thingamajig. So we go to pages, puzzle, and then we'll just put that over here. And instead of pad pack, this is now called puzzle correct. And if I do this, and finish the puzzle, speed up rigs. Can I not save this maybe? Title is not defined. Okay. Title. Yeah. So we get the full screen thing here, and then we're just gonna work based on that. And we don't even, because the idea is basically I want to keep the player connected to the puzzle, so the puzzle doesn't just go poof. And I was actually contemplating if down the line we actually want modify the space, kind of maybe, you know, keep the puzzle visible, and then, you know, put the information down the bottom, just overlay the controls, for example, right? Or move the controls off the screen or something, I don't know. And so let me think. We have this, and then we want to kind of slide things in from the side. And we probably can do this with CSS animation, maybe. So maybe we don't need to kind of get rid of our existing dialog altogether. Maybe we can just modify it. So we can just add the overlay puzzle correct style here as this. Boom. And we probably want to kind of poke around at this in here a little bit. So we have the overlay. The overlay right now is opaque, which is basically what this will do. And I want to see what it was before. So without that, it was what? It was this. Okay. Problem is we can't use opacity, so we'd have to mix the colors. But I guess we can, well, overlay. All right, I gotta figure out where I want to have this stuff, so the puzzle is as little obscured as possible. The other thing is, obviously, we have different phones, so, you know, there'll be tall phones like the iPhones and stuff, where there's a lot of space. So, because I was thinking, like, if I overlay the end of puzzle information down here, first of all, that's kind of where your fingers rest. So is that really what we want? We have space up here for some phones, but not others. So we kind of do a few things. We could push the puzzle down, like slide the puzzle down, and then put the information at the top, or slide the puzzle up, and then put the information at the bottom. While I like that technically better, I'm wondering if, you know, having your fingers over the controls would kind of obscure the information and people are used to seeing information at the top. So I'm trying to think, like, what is, like, the first step? Like, when you finish the puzzle, and that's, I think this is also why some games have, you know, like, if you think of the original Solitaire from Windows 3.1, they have, like, weird animations of fireworks or whatever. And I think a lot of that is just to transition the person, the player, and give them a mental moment, a space to kind of realize, oh, I finished. Oh, wow. Yay. And then before getting hit with, this is your time, this is what do you want to do next, etc. You know, like have a bit of a, you know. So that's kind of what the animations are supposed to be for. Because I don't think even the most rabid puzzlers are gonna be like, don't delay me by half a second. I want to get to the next puzzle, you know. And maybe there will be a speed solve. Nope, no sidetracking. All right, so I think right now, I wonder if the top bar we could keep, because it already contains the title of the puzzle, right? All right, let's bring the thing back for a second. Ah, wait a second. It's not just the overlay color that we're changing here. It's also is puzzle correct? Background color. Why can I not change that here? That's odd. It's odd. And the width and border stuff, that is on this here. So the width. Yeah, I think the width right now is that wide because of the confinement of the phone screen, but it's not guaranteed to be 100%. If I do this, yeah. But if I do this, it'll always be 100%. All right. We're gonna do an outline 10px sol dashed RGBA 2550 0.3 and then outline offset. I still don't know how to, you know, I find the documentation very lacking for these kind of shortcut property keys. Outline offset, okay. And we want to go straight to the end dialogue, so I'm gonna force that dialogue somehow. Show dialogue correct. Where does that get? Handle show dialogue. We're just gonna fire that on preload, on post load, I believe. Is that what it's called? Added that last time, I think. Post load, on post load. If I say on post load async function arg, like that, I'll just snoop in here. So that should just come right up at the end. And then if I do this, we get straight into the dialogue, and it'll save us a couple of seconds, especially if it keeps auto-refreshing, right? The outline being hidden by the button is interesting. I feel like maybe the button is just on something that has its own background color. Does this have a background color? Dialog.sticky. Yeah, it does. I think I can configure that. Stickiness, sticky. Dialog.sticky. Can I override that to make it not sticky? Alright, not important. We're gonna, yeah, we disable the animation here. It doesn't fade in. I'm doing this in the wrong place. Gotta be here. So let's hide this so I don't get sidetracked here. Okay. If I disable animation on the dialogue as well. Yes, okay. And now the positioning. If I look at the dialogue positioning, it happens from position absolute. If I say bottom 0, yeah, we have the transform kicking in here. Alright, so basically what we want to do then is transform none. And we'll do left 0 and bottom 0. Aha, okay. And then we'll do border radius 0. Alright. Now the question is there a guaranteed size at the bottom that I can know for sure that the puzzle won't overlap? Or do I have to do the whole calculation? I might have to do the whole calculation in the end. But if I do this and then just say height 30%, for example. Yeah, that doesn't work. Probably because of the way it's being positioned. So we have width, because it probably has a top setting, min width. Yeah. Outline transform top 50%. So will be left, top, auto, bottom. No, this. Right, bro. Like that. And the sticky thing, I'm pretty sure if I search for sticky, I'm sure there's a setting for that in framework. Oh, sticky. I think it defaults to sticky. I do not recall telling it to be sticky. Log options sticky. I am telling it to be sticky. Okay, don't need it to be sticky. Okay, now it doesn't fit. All right, we'll do that in a minute. The thing is there an easy way for me to figure out where the puzzle is? There kind of sort of is. We go to this. I guess we can just do it. So if I look at the puzzle from here, what am I interested in? The board, I guess. Hidden. App. Game. Board. And this is positioned via transform? No, it is positioned via... It is positioned via transform. Now the problem is this top coordinate is calculated... yeah. Calculated by a whole bunch of stuff, isn't it? It is... Is it 2 times this? I don't remember. So if I do this, right? The minus 50% transform kind of interacts in a weird way. 214. 214. Board. So we have position absolute. Center flex direction column, yada yada. Then we have width and height. Much. This is the bane of my existence, the layout code. It works, but I don't know why, and I don't know how. So this centers it, right? So the positioning is relative to that. So if I change this to say 100. Oh no, not the left top. If I change it to 100 or that or 0. It was 4 something. 45. I'm gonna, against my better judgment, I'm gonna look into the layout code again. Even though every time I do, I waste a few hours and then undo everything because it's so complicated that I can't fix it. There's nothing to be fixed, it works. I just would like to reorganize it to be more controllable. All right. So this is where the top comes from, right? And the board top is... So we've got some sort of margin. We have the scale. We have the height. We have the controls. So this is its position relative to the top of the controls. Okay. As in a way, it's kind of interesting because the controls is what I could cover with the dialog safely. So I might just do that, but I would like to take advantage of the whole thing. So we have control top, control Y, minus board margin, scale, board bounds, height. And I'm trying to think. And this X represents the center of the board because of the transform. Control, transform, Y, control, get transform. Get transform. Where is that? Notice, what does it do? It literally raw dogs the transform information. I don't like it. We have top, translate Y, minus board margin. If I do this, we are here. So half times scale times board bound height. So not the margins. It's this is the part that that gets us into that's yeah. Because the problem is these two values are combined, and I'd like to know either this one or this one. If I know this one, then I can say, okay, this is how I need to translate it to get to the half, blah blah blah. And of course, this could have been done better with a nested div of some kind, and then doing half of it in CSS. But I did not do that at the time, and now I have to suffer the consequences. Obviously, the other option is I can replicate this maths to pull this information out, but I love to avoid that. Board bounds bottom. We're calculating get content bounds. So, what are we using here? Height. Let's get restore that. I don't actually want to touch any of this if I can afford it. I mean, if I can avoid it. If I can afford to not touch it, right? If I do this, post SVG renderer. So we have app plus framework and app SVG renderer. All right. And we'll have a BB here. What does that look like? BB? I think that's our board bounds. And then we calculate something from that. So we're looking at the height, which is the bottom divided by size, which is a quarter. 0.25 times cell size. Why is it a quarter? Oh, because we're sort of rounding it to a quarter of a cell size. All right. I might be able to ignore that. The scale, I've done some work on that very recently. I think there's a scale function. Draw scale, get scale. Scale equals control max scale to fit. I think I might actually have, that's like brand new code. I think it's in here. Get SVG transform scale from Fujimoji. Yeah, I built that the other day. Good. And this probably should turn into a helper, but for now, I just want the info. Right? I can do scale equal front. SVGL. So dot get. Ooh. Find dot get attribute get SVG element get SVG nope get SVG element find what's it called? Where's the renderer? We have get something get element. Right. Ooh, I didn't change anything. I hope. And then we need to get that element. We are now in the wrong place somehow. Here we go. So const GEL equals all right. And that should get us the scale. Right? No. No. Is it possible that this was too early? Oh no, that's not where we're getting our scale from, is it? It's from the board, and the board is higher up in the hierarchy. So we have game, the board, the grid, the cells. Okay. So I think we can do something like get closest MDN select. I think it's just closest, right? So closest, and we're looking for dot board. Right? Board. And that's what we want to get the scale off of. Ta-da! And the scale is 0.696. Okay. And we need to calculate the height via bottom and top? Bottom, top. I think height is already being calculated. Okay. Okay, so and now the positioning is happening via the board, right? Not anything higher up in the hierarchy. Above board is game. Okay. So let's do that. Get that out of there. Right. And then we'll do something like I think it's via top positioning. Or top. Board element style. Board top. Yeah. All right. Now the mathing begins. So, if I do bb.height times scale, and I don't know actually if new top 400. That doesn't sound right because it's already at 424, so it should be all the way up there. So maybe it's the other way around. Minus board margin minus that. Is anything else being added to this? Is that a number? Yeah. So what if I do this? Just to start getting a feel for it a little bit. Excuse me, my microphone. I feel like struggling to get it positioned well. So if we calculate something here, that new top equals, we can do that. New top. I'll just do that for now. Like that. I'll just put that in here. Yeah, that's odd. If it's 0, it's gonna be too high. So, board height. Oh, half of the board height, right? Obviously. Yeah, 0.5. Okay. So 0.5 times. And we'll put that in here. There we go. Okay. And now we're basically just missing the margins and the thingamajigs, the top bar height. Now the margins, I think, are hard-coded. Min padding. Margins. Board margin. Okay. Guess we can use that. And we need to add that in. Like that. I don't think we multiply that by scale. No, it looks perfectly fine here. Oh, because it's already scaled. Alright, fair enough. Board margin. I guess we could bring this... Yeah, doesn't matter. And then the top bar height. Which here doesn't matter because we're positioning it relative to the bottom. But I think the top bar height can just extract straight from the top bar. And that is where? Adding top bar. Top bar. Here we go. New bounds. New bounds, top bar. New bounds. I think we only care about the menu height here. So if I do this, and output that, and then do I just add that in as well? Like that? Yeah, so that would adjust, and that should work for any size puzzle in any, so that should be okay. So that would bring the puzzle as high up as possible. So now the question is, how do I do this via an animation? So this number, I'm trying to think, this number doesn't change. This number depends on, I think it does it depend on the scale? Yeah, it does, because as the scale changes, right, that number changes. Ah, but it's not. Oh, wait. Because every time we resize, it recalculates that, and then this doesn't get recalculated. Oof. So we would have to. We basically okay. So sorry. I'm not saying the things that are in my brain, right? So for a CSS animation to work, we need to. There's two ways of doing this, and one way is to basically have the CSS animation relative to this number. So basically, we need to literally update the style that has that number. Maybe we can do it via a variable. Maybe. I'm not sure. I guess I can set variables via JavaScript. Maybe that'll be the right thing to do. The other ways would be to manipulate the HTML in here to make to adjust some sort of parent element so that no longer the position is relative to the bottom, but you know, some other styles that override this whole resize mechanism. And then there's always the third option of hijacking the resize mechanism altogether. Let's see if, because the HTML is quite minimal, which is maybe regretful. Because above board, I only have game. And as I resize that, the styling on the board itself gets modified, right? And I don't think I can override this. So even, let's say, if I put a class on it or whatever, this style change would always override that, right? So there's either I can move something on the inside, like move the grid, or move something on the outside. And on the outside, there's just the game. Wait, and the game does... but the game includes the control... No, it doesn't. So the game, I could manipulate the game. The problem is I would have to change how I manipulate that relative to how these values change, right? And finally, is there a way of changing something other than something that makes this ignore the new left and top values? Because I think those are the ones that change. Like if I say something like board display none important, like if I do that and then I resize that, display non-important. Oop. And then it gets overwritten, yeah. But if something else doesn't get overwritten, like position relative important position. I do this. That changes something. That's weird. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if is there something I can use to disable the transform and the top and width values. No, I don't want to bother with that. It's gonna be too messy. So I think I'll do the simplest thing that'll work, which is probably just adding another resize event handler and then just waiting a tick and then changing that afterwards. And secondly, we want to be able to animate it, right? So we need to do a little bit more than that as well. Because the problem is these are being set, so they will override whatever I set in an animation. So there's, and I don't wanna have to rewrite a lot of things. So the only thing I could imagine is we have a transform for the animation. So the problem is, right, like as this gets updated, the animation won't be able to operate. It'll get reset all the time. If you're, well, I guess we can assume that resizing won't happen during that period. Or we do the animation ourselves and we don't rely on CSS animation, which makes it a lot more complicated. Yeah, animating during resize is a little tricky. Let's try setting up a resize handler, right? So document.add event inner resize around. Right. If I do this, and I'll do this. Document add, I guess it's got to be on window. So I'll go here and then do this. We get the resize, right? So the question is, does this resize fire before or after the script resize? And the problem is, that's probably not reliable. Maybe it is, actually, because this is set up very early and this is set up much later. So I think they'll operate in that order. And I might be able to hijack the other ones. Maybe. But I don't want to, because there could be other resize handlers that I do want to run, right? So I think we need to recalculate a bunch of these things, right? So the menu bar, I don't think changes with resizing. I don't think so. But maybe, you know, maybe we actually want to move everything in there except maybe these. Yeah, and then these all can go in here. Like that. Now, okay, and then we can execute this once at the start here. Now, we have that going on, all right. Without the insane console spam. All right. All right. Oh, we'll have to look at the vertical thing as well. So now the question is, how do I move it from this position to this position, right? I think probably the best thing to do is to do it myself, as usual. So we just need a progress from 0 to 1, and we need to know the from position and the to position. And the from position will actually change, right, as you resize. So the from position will be whatever there is prior. So we'll say const from top equals this parse int, and then const to top. Right, and then we can just say from top to top, from top, new top to top. All right, here we go. So the from top will change. Now the to top here is slightly different, even though it's not moving. Okay, so do I want to emulate this briefly? So we'll just say let progress equals 0, right? And then from top to top, yada yada, and then new top will be to top minus from top. So that gets us the range multiplied by progress times progress, and then we'll add from top again. And I think that this would work even if it's negative and all that, right? So let's do it for instance, if we're going from 100 to 50 and we're halfway there, which should be 75, right? Well, to 50 minus 100 is negative 50. Negative 50 times 0.5 equals negative 25. And then we're adding 100 back in, and that's 75. Yeah, okay. Checks out. So, by the way, as usual, let me know if the audio is working. If I'm missing a chat on one platform or another, maybe poke me on Discord or something. Because sometimes one of the chats doesn't update properly. Okay. So, from top to top, new top equals new top. So now, progress being at 0, it should be what it already is. Okay. And now if I set the progress to 0.5, it should be halfway between the two, but should always be correct. Okay. And now we'll just, we'll just update progress. So, and where did I looked at this earlier. I've done this somewhere else, and now I don't recall. Animation, request, animation frame. Feature debug, feature fog. Yes. I think in the fog animation, we'll have start, fade. All right, so we So when we're resizing, we need to recalculate the two values. So, I basically want a function that just gives me the two values, the from and to. So, const get from to top. Right? And that'll just do this bitty math here. And we'll return from and new. From to new. Return from to new. No, it will not return new because we won't have progress in here yet. From top to top. Right. And then here we'll do const from top to top equals yada yada. Get from to top. And then board element is out here, and we don't need anything else. And we can calculate new top, and that should work, right? Don't need that, and we don't need that. And I set progress to 0. Okay, that's fine. So handle resize doesn't actually. Handle resize is actually just gonna calculate these. And we'll have progress 0, and we have from top to top. Right. And I guess from top to top, we might actually need to calculate every frame anyways. Like there's no, I'm just thinking like, if we're not resizing, we don't actually need to recalculate these. Yeah, let's not do that actually. Sure. We'll just start with this. Like that. Right? We'll do that. And then we'll do our request animation frame here. We'll do, and then later on, hopefully, this will be able to handle a variety of animations. So we'll just have one animation loop, and then we'll just say, okay, here's the animations we want to run, and then we can slide things in. We can overlap multiple animations. We just pop them onto like a little list of animations, yada, 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 right? So we'll do handle request animation frame, right? It gets a time thingamajig. The handle resize literally just updates from top to top now. It doesn't calculate new top. Right. And then we'll just have a start. So we'll do a request animation frame, handle raf. Handle resize. Don't need to run, but we could. But no, we don't need to. And then here we do that, and here we do that. Oh yeah, and then I'll have start time, end time, yada yada, right? So last frame times, all of this is, yeah, we definitely need to package this up into like a little tool that we can reuse. So we'll do a function const start anim and in start anim this is where this kind of thing happens, right? And I guess the handle resize, well, we'll let it live here for a sec. So the start time gets set in start fade. So fade start time equals undefined. If fade start time is undefined, this time. So actually we're triggering it like that. Okay. So let progress. Anim start time. So we'll do anim start time equals undefined. And then anim if anim start time is undefined, anim start time is time. Oh, because we're relying on this time and it won't be available before then. All right. And then last frame time. Last frame time. Okay, well, anim start time, anim last time. I don't know if this needs to be set. Anim last time. And then this dot fade time is a 0. Fade time is used for fade time, fade crossfade. Force redraw. While fade interval is greater or equal to fade interval. Oh, because this limits the frame rate. Okay, yeah, we don't need it that complicated, I think. Yeah. So definitely want to do this. We'll have a let progress 0. Probably put the ref ID here. Right. Progress, yeah, okay. So we'll clear any existing ones. Before we start, we'll reset a bunch of stuff. And anytime we don't care, progress is greater than equal to 1. Progress gets state start time, so we'll call that anim state time. And then anim last time and anim duration ms equals 1000. We'll do divided by animation duration time minus dt. Do we need dt here? No. Turn stop anim. We'll have stop anim. Do this. Stop anim here too. Right. And for now, I think that's all we need to do. Don't need none of that. Fade time, still don't know what that's for. And here we'll do start anim. Nope, nope. That. And I want to log that out. We'll stop anim and we'll at least once also log this out, just in case it all goes terribly wrong. And what happened? Start anim, stop anim. This never happened. Progress. So what do we have? Progress. We'll have anim start time and last time, and we have time as well. Start anim, execute stop anim, that's fine. Can I just that here, please? And then request animation frame. Oh yeah, and we need to actually request it in there as well. So this also needs to happen here. So handle ref, request animation frame. Stop anim, start anim. Handle ref doesn't seem to execute though. Request animation frame. Start animation, stop animation, cancel animation frame. If ref ID undefined. Okay. We're executing start animation. I haven't done this in so long. Is there something that doesn't work the way I think? Some method or in the current time to regulate how much animation progress in a frame. Otherwise, the animation will run faster on high refresh rate screens. Yeah. Okay, we'll sort that out. We'll sort that out later. If start is undefined start times. Yeah, okay, this is basically what I'm doing here. The funny thing is, we don't seem to be hitting this at all. Request animation frame. Is request animation frame here not what I expect it to be? Maybe this needs to be window. Maybe something's hijacking it. Cannot access progress after initialization. Oh, wait. Progress is calculated locally. Ah, here we go. Is it really that? Whoa, wait a second. Am I hijacking this somewhere? Or something hijacking this somewhere? Request animation frame. If I don't do that here, it still works. Changed nothing. Okay, very bizarre. Very bizarre. But we have time and progress, right? Okay. So now we can use that progress to do this thing here. Right? Using new top. Dot round. Boom. Boom. It never hits the final thing. Which is strange. Do we never hit progress equals 100 or whatever? 232. Oh, because it overshoots. Okay. So we kind of want to clamp it to these two. Well, we can kind of just clamp it to progress being whatever, right? So math dot minimum 100 progress, and by 100 I mean 1, and math dot max 0. Okay, so it goes backwards. I'm kind of trying to make it a little generic, so in the future I can more easily use that for other things. Okay, and then we just need to update it, right? Okay, and if I balance that and make it a little slower, so it's currently 1 second. If I make it 3 seconds, right? And then I should be able to do this, and it should always work until the animation finishes, and then it doesn't do the thing anymore after a resize. Yeah, I'm so tempted to already kind of make an animation system, but I don't think I want to do that right now. So these two lines, we want to basically have a little function here like const update pop, and then we'll just pass progress in, and then that's just gonna do these things here, right? And here we're gonna use the global progress. Gonna pass that in here. Gonna get rid of that. And now it should just work. And then once it hits the top, it should still work. Except it doesn't because I haven't done the thing here. Okay. So yada yada. We're done, and it's still stuck to the top. Okay. And then, you know, this might work for a bunch of things. And then this function doesn't... The only thing it needs to know is about... So ultimately, we probably want to have this function running at all times. and then just add things to our animation stack, right? I mean, we could get smart and say, hey, if the animation stack is empty, kill the function, right? And these are... so tempted to do that. Let's do this right now. And then basically each animation has like a on animation start, on animation update, and on animation finish. And then start and finish will just set up some props and all that sort of thing, right? I mean, there isn't really a lot. And we could even do it in one function and just say, hey, you know, keep some internal state and, you know. And in fact, we can do that in here. Yeah, because right now I'm saying, hey, you know, this only needs to update if we're actually resizing. It doesn't need to update when we're moving. And that's correct, really. So the resize is almost entirely independent of the animation itself. We just also happen to update this thing there. And the resize is actually custom to this animation. And the animation, well, we could have one singular resize handler, and every animation had like a resize method. All right, I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom just for a second. I'll be right back with more on this animation, and then hopefully we'll use it for sliding in other bits as well. Be right back. All right. Yep. Rearrange seating arrangements. Just table, and everything changed since I moved. All right. So, since we're gonna have to move multiple things and we want to overlap the animations. Hey, Chameleon, how are you doing? I think we're gonna need a multi-animation system right away anyways. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say start animation will take an anim object, right? And we're gonna start the animation with on resize, resize, and on frame, handle frame, right? And this will be our handle frame, no frame. Okay, so then we'll have my nose itching. We'll have animations. Gonna be an array, and we'll have something like duration 3000, delay 0. So we can trigger multiple animations at the same time, and set in a delay, etc. Right? So the start time needs to be set first time around the thingamajig. All right, so we go so first of all, for now we're just gonna not do any checks like does the animation already exist, etc, etc. We'll do this, and we'll probably want to do object assign to clone shallow copy the object basically, right? And then we'll just have start time. I'll just call it start. And then we'll just say if RFID, I'll try to remember to invert them. We'll do that. We'll only start it if it's not already running. Okay. So next step is we're not gonna do this. So this should only happen once, but we should see the animations here. Start is not defined. Undefined. Kind of the point. All right. So handle ref, yada yada, if start. So we'll do const for const anim of animations. We have an animation, and what's the animation gonna do? Yeah. So now we're checking if anim, if undefined anim dot start, we'll do something. So then anim start equals time. Now the last time is not, we're not using that here, and I think last frame time I used to calculate delta times. And for now, I don't think I'm gonna bother with that. I'm gonna skip that part. So if the animation isn't started, we'll start the animation in this way. Then we'll update progress. And that's basically always this. So that's time minus anim.start divided by anim.duration. And that's the animation progress. Then we'll run handle frame on that animation. And I don't... Do we want to limit it to 1 here? No, because we want to know if it's overshooting or whatnot. Unless... No, because we want to have 1 execution after it crosses the 1 progress barrier. So then we'll do anim.onFrame anim.progress, like that. And then finally, if anim.progress is greater or equal to 1, I guess we'll call stop animation. Stop anim. Right. And then stop anim. Right. We'll do let anim idx equals animations dot index of anim. Is this safe to do in the middle of the loop? No. This is not safe to do in the middle of the loop, because if we're changing the animations array at this point... So we basically want to do a second loop here. So we can either do a filter, which reallocates an array every frame, which I'm not happy about. Or we'll have to go from the back to the front. And then splice them all, right? And I think if we splice them in reverse order, we should be okay. So actually we don't do that here then. Right, we'll do it here for const for I equals animations dot length -1, I greater or equal to greater than 0, 0, I plus. If I do that. And we'll probably want to start 2 of these animations just for testing purposes. Ooh. Not good. Why is it counting? Why is I counting so high? Oh, because I inverted my checks. Like a noob. Okay, can I kill this? Can we just do that? Bring it back. Okay. Is greater than I minus. Wow. Alright. No, rookie mistake. It happens to us all. Right? Who hasn't done an infinite loop just like that? Animations.length should be 2. We started 1. We don't hit 0. So we want to do this. Okay. Now we can just say animations I, and we can check if they're done. Now if I set duration to 0, they should be done at this point, right? Progress, not a number. Ah. We should be able to set duration to 0, and it should just jump straight to the end. Alright, if we make the durations 1, do we hit duration 1 on the first step? Progress 0. No. What if we do a second request animation frame afterwards? Okay, so we got the 2. Feels like we got 3 here. We got 1, 2, 3. How do we get through? Oh, because we start anim twice. Probably don't want to do it here then. Duration 1. Are any of these progress? No. Set interval. Nat in what? 50 milliseconds. I just need a second frame so we can. It is set timeout. At least that one wasn't as bad as the other one. All right. So here we should now have progress 100. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So now we can go to here. Not progress greater or equals 1. True, true. All right. So if this is true, we'll do stop anim. Do we need to do anything particular with stop anim here? No. We'll just... We probably want to handle it in this loop, right? That's the whole freaking point. So we'll do animations dot splice. And I always need to look that one up. I think it's the second argument, so we'll do index 1. So we'll do I1. Right. And then we'll do console.log animations. That. Oh, my nose is tickling. 1 sec. Huh? Hurts. Alright. 2, and then we went down to 0. Alright. And then we can say if animations.length is 0, we'll not continue. Or the other way around. If animations.length is greater than 0, then we'll do this. Else graph ID goes undefined. The undefined is what lets us know that it's not running. So if I do this, right? So that should run and finish. And then if I do another set timeout 500 milliseconds later, that just starts another animation like that. That also finishes then, right? We have first, second, we're finished. First, second, we're finished. So handle ref gets called another time here. Why does handle ref get called? So this should call it once. This should call it a second time. And this should call it a third time. Ah, no, wait, we've added this now, so it should already continue. If I do this, 1, 2, finished, 1, 2, finished. Okay, sweet. Now if I do this, and I do that, it'll run a couple of times. Okay. And anim here. We got just loop through the animations twice. It's not too bad. Okay. And now with that, we should be able to trigger these animations any which way. So if I make this 3 seconds, it does that. And then when it's finished, it's finished. Now request animation frame shouldn't run anymore. And if we want to be, so this doesn't, we don't need that. We don't need that. These are the bits of the animation. This is no longer a thing. So, so here we even should have a this available, which should also contain progress, really. Oops. This is not the okay, but that's really up to me how to bind that. If I just add a function in here, it'll work. Okay, and the handle resize. But handle resize doesn't get progress. So I cannot use these functions because I cannot, unless I pass the anim in there. So what if we do? No, we do, yeah, so we do handle anim resize, handle anim resize. And I wonder if we should always trigger this once. I'm not sure. This, we're gonna move into here. And this is just gonna be function for now, because I know that'll be bound correctly. Just we have on frame like that, and function event, boom, and we'll just do on resize the event. Okay, so now that gets us the animation. We might not even have to pass progress in. We could just pass animation object in, and then we'll always have access to progress. Do we set time on this? Anim start will start a time. Anim time. We'll do that as well. Or should we do anim delta? Because we could just do dt, right? We could just do dt equals time minus anim.start, like that. And then here, instead of passing in anim progress, we'll just pass in anim. And on this, we can now use a arrow function, like that. And that should just work. Yep. And resize, handle anim resize. So we now need to do this, doing the resize here, and we'll just say if function of anim dot on resize and dot on resize. We probably need to pass the event in though, in case we need to react to whatever. So this will be anim event. Instead of this, we'll just reference anim. So that'll give us access to progress. Boom. And then here, progress is not defined. Sorry, anim. So here we have resize events. And basically now, as part of the resize, we want to do what? We want to update this. And we probably want to do an on start as well. And then we'll probably want to do if this on start, we just do on start like that. Or this start could happen when the start time gets set. That makes a lot of sense, right? If function Because at that point, we know the stuff is already being set. Delta time will be 0 at this point. Right, so dt, we can initialize to dt 0. Progress 0. Yeah. And these won't be updated when this happens. In fact, we don't... Yeah, because this will work out to 0, this will work out to 0, yada yada. So we almost don't want to do these, but it does make a difference. All right. And then here we can do on start instead of on frame. Like that. And we'll probably make this much shorter now. So on start, on frame, on frame. And then on start, we basically do this initialization here. So we'll do this, no, on start, nm. And we can do nm dot from to equals get from to up. And I guess that can now just be integrated as well. This becomes part of our animation system here. Start animation, stop animation. Yeah. These get from to top is actually now part of our little animation object here, or we'll just make it a helper function here. Yeah, just move it down there. So the animation system here is independent now. All right, so we'll do that. Don't need that. And then we'll do n.from to get from to top. On resize, we'll do the same thing. And then here, we'll do const, oops, from top to top equals m from 2. Like that. Actually, I guess we can just do this like that. Right. Progress is not defined. Progress. On start. And then dot progress. Boom. So, from and to. Now if we slow it down again, and then do the resize, that's just all working. Nice and beautiful. Now, the controls not going all the way to the bottom is a little bothersome. We'll get to that in a sec, though. Although I have a feeling I might be able to get away with ignoring that, since it only seems to affect basically impossible aspect ratios, right? So, and just to kind of take stock what like this sort of minimal animation may or may not look like, can get rid of that and go in here. We probably don't need to call it that, so we can just say from to yada yada, board element. That's just, you know, a little arrow function here. Boom. And oh, the delay hasn't been taken into consideration yet. So the delay should happen between delay. So we want to have a trigger time. We'll have trigger equals, the problem is so really we want to have we want to have the trigger time, the start time moved into trigger time. So here we'll basically do if undefined equals anim.trigger. Let me think. Is this a good idea, or should we handle that separately? Because basically anything that's sitting in the delay queue we'll have to look at in this period. But we're not looping anywhere else, so I guess we have to loop through them somewhere. So basically, this is really when for the first time we actually know anything. So start won't happen until trigger is larger than trigger plus whatever, right? Yeah, and we can let's just do that. We can initialize this to 0 and duration to 1000. And then those would get overwritten. So the delay would, we basically want to say if undefined is anim.start and anim.trigger minus time, and these should be one or the other, right? So we kind of want to do this, and then else if we do this. So if start hasn't happened yet, and the trigger time minus the time, so the duration since between trigger and current time is greater or equal to anim dot delay, then we'll start. Else we do this. Boom. And here we'll just do continue, because in this case we don't want to trigger a frame yet, but in these cases we do want to trigger a frame, and this is fine. We'll do that. So now undefined is not defined, yada yada yada. Destructive cannot destructive property 242 from 2. So does that mean it's trying to trigger on frame before it ever triggered on start? That shouldn't happen, right? Ah, wait. No, on start will happen here. Oh, guys. On start will happen here. If little RAF 195 on frame. So console.log trigger at time, then start at time, and then frame at time. So trigger frame. So start doesn't happen. Why does start not happen? If yeah, that's 100 milliseconds later. Is it 100 seconds later? No, we don't want to continue here because the trigger might already have expired at this point, right? So trigger start frame. Okay. And if the delay is 500 milliseconds, Trigger frame. So start doesn't happen. And we'll do else. On start. Should we trigger on frame on start as well? I feel like we should. And I'm guessing we should check for on frame here as well. Boom. I wonder if these type of checks are expensive, but we're only doing a handful of these. Okay. So, on start, on frame, frame, trigger, frame. We don't get to start. Why not? How could we possibly get to the... Ah, because this is the else on that. Yeah, this needs to be nested. All right. Because else is on this and not on this. Because we're kind of waiting for that, right? So we might have some couple frames where nothing is happening, where we're waiting for the delay to expire, right? Trigger, 500 milliseconds. If undefined unlimited start. Right. So this is where we're checking start. And we should also do this and this. So it's a negative. So time gets larger. It's time minus anim.trigger. Yeah, it's, you know, as a time traveler myself, I often get confused with the direction of time. There we go. Right. And, you know, if we were building this for third party, we probably would want to make sure these values are positive, negative, yada, yada, yada. So now the trick is, can we do two animations? So because, let's say, we'll do it after 500 milliseconds, we'll do a 1 second animation up. After 1500 seconds, we'll do a 500 milliseconds animation down. What do you think of that? We can do, we literally just swap the to and the from here, right? Up. No. Okay. Okay. I read you. You want more from me? Oop. We'll probably wanna do that in here. Stop anim, start anim, stop anim, start anim. The stop anim. Oh, yeah, no, we don't want that anymore. We don't want to call that there. In fact, stop animation doesn't actually really do a thing, right? Yeah, we're not gonna actually do that right now. So start. The second animation start. The second animation start. Even though I've inverted from and to, doesn't seem to work. Let us output these briefly. So if I just output the top value here, at least like to, I just want to see if the animations are overlapping or not, basically. And then figure out why the math is wrong, basically. NM2, 257. NM from 2. NM from 2. NM is not defined. Right. Just this. And this. They should be the same number on both. Oh. The from has changed. But the from should not be dependent on the current position, right? No, it is very much dependent on the current position. Ah, shoot. It is only not dependent on the current position after the resize. So this is a problem. Okay, all right. This is not a flaw in this particular system. This is actually, it's not a flaw in the animation system. It's a flaw in particular animation, because this doesn't always get us the correct info. It only gets us the correct info right after resize, when the native positioning algorithm has done its thing. But when this triggers, that's not the case. We'll just do a little cheaty thing. Let from 2 equals. We'll initialize it once for both over here. And then we'll just do that here like that. And then here like that as well. And now it goes up and then comes back down. The wheat. Yeah. Now obviously you can't overlap animations. Animating, you know, this. If you're trying to animate the same values, one will overwrite the other, whatever. But in terms of the animation system itself, that's all right. I am happy with that. So, is there anything here we can clean up right now before we move on? So, yeah, I'm gonna go liner. This needs to be like that. This could be a one-liner, but it'll be a long line. And resize. Yeah, we don't need that. And these maybe we'll attempt it to functionize them. But then of course we're just adding overhead. We're making the code simpler, but overall run slower. Yeah. Anyway, this is okay. It shouldn't live in here, but for now, that's fine. Okay, so let's think about what we actually want to animate. So let's get rid of this for a sec here. That can go back in here like it should. Don't need that. Don't need that anymore. And the animation, obviously, first of all, shouldn't have a delay. And second of all, should be much faster. So maybe not that fast. Half a second. Maybe a little faster than that. Now, the only thing we haven't thought about here right now is tweening functions. Do we have CSS tween implementations? Can we use the easing functions in JavaScript somehow? I have done this myself in the past. Have I done it in this project? I don't know. JavaScript. JavaScript easing function. Trying to think where I've used them. Like the functions are super simple, so I don't want to bring in a library or anything like that. Can I just pull them out of here? Ease in, out. Like ease in, out. And ease in, out. In, out. Just regular. Quad. Are these standalone? Yeah. TypeScript. Go away. This is not TypeScript. What a waste. All right. If I have ease in out port here, can we simplify this? These are so long. Amount of change. Elapsed initial amount of change. Amount of change. Change. What is the amount of change? These are not compatible with CSS functions. Open that. We'll just do this, this for now. Right. Okay. That should work. Blow up. Script. All right. So chirp. This because I'm evil. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. So elapsed initial amount duration. I don't even need elapsed initial and all that, but I think we can use this. So if I do in-house quad elapsed, is that in time? So if I put progress in here and then put 1 for duration, and then we'll have from, and then the amount would be 2 minus from, right? So if I do this and that, where do we end up? 247, 326. All right, it looks right-ish. If I now do this and stick that in here, get rid of that, right? Yeah, now the thing is, I'm thinking the easing should actually be done in the animation system. So, let's see, let easing, const easing equals, and then we'll just say, in-out quad, like that. Like that, and like that, and like that, and then we'll have linear, and that'll just be, so duration will always be 1, and initial will always be 0, right? Initial will always be 0. So we can do this and this, get rid of it. Duration will always be 1, get rid of that. And then elapsed will be progress, and amount will also be 1. I just want, yeah, so amount will also be 1. And then this is just progress. And that's our linear function. And is there an easy way for me to verify this visually? Well, let's see. and in progress. Let's see. So, I think I've just been building a core animation system so far, not really anything actually using it in the... normally I'd like to kind of rough and tumble it more in the, you know, kind of hacking it in, making things work, but I think this time I actually want to build this thing. So, we'll have linear. We'll have linear. And we'll just pass in the progress and get the new progress out. And then we'll have in-out quad. Let's see what that looks like. Elapsed. Elapsed. Oh. Progress, 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 progress. Boom. So, 0.1. Why does it start with 0.1? Are we not hitting... we don't hit on the first... No, we are hitting on frame here. Oh, okay. Ah, but progress will be 0 on that. And... although... I see. I see. If undefined... If undefined is unstored. Else... I guess we'll do something like this instead. And then we don't need to do this. And then we don't need to do that. So let's see. 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 3, 1, 3, blah, blah, blah. And 1, 0, 0. This didn't quite... The quad one didn't quite catch up. Which does make a lot of sense. Ah. Alright, let's see. Can we find a different easy... I need just between 0 and 1. I don't need all the other stuff. This is the same thing, isn't it? But easy in-out quad should still return 1 when you're feeding in progress 1. So, progress divided equal by 0.5 less than 1. Do we actually manipulate the value of progress in here? Alright. Yeah, these seem to be matching up. Because there are no built-in browser animations. There's animations in CSS, yes, if I can apply CSS animations, but you can control them. So then suddenly you are depending on elements and DOM and all sorts of fidgety things, and then they restart when you're moving something. I don't want my animations to restart. On a resize, I don't want the animation to restart. I ran into that the other day when I added a workaround around a browser bug, forcing a redraw, and every time I forced a redraw, all the animations reset. So then Sven Peak came up every time somebody typed in a number. Also, easing is not difficult. I'm just thinking that this should be closer to 1. And I'm going to test that. I'm going to test it by going into Sheets. Can't believe I'm doing this. We'll just have progress here. We'll have this be 0.0. And we'll have it 0.05. 0.1, right? And then I'll just pull these down to a little bit over 1, right? And then we'll have ease. in, out, quad. And that's gonna be this function. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. That's what it's gonna be. No, I'm not gonna go through this pain in the ass. Is this easing in and out right now? That's all I care about. So instead of outputting this, if I actually apply it like that, do I get something that looks correct? No, not at all. Huh. Is that what they mean by in out? That's not how it should go. Ease out quad. So ease linear. The problem is they're doing all this coordinate calculation, which I don't want. I want it from 0 to 1, and that's it. Let's see if I'm the one who's wrong here. It's very possible, right? If we do this, my God, why don't they use freaking variable names? Like if we do this, right? But t is time, beginning value, so that's equals 0. Change in value equals 1. And the duration is 1. Right? Now if I do linear here, what do we get? We'll get that. That looks kind of right. And if I do ease in out quad, what do we get? Do the same thing. This time I don't fiddle with it. I'll just leave these in here. Or I'll fiddle with it in a second. Not right now. Alright. And now we should be able to ease in and out with quad easing. And it bounces. That is not an ease in out. It just isn't. Okay, let us do this for let I equals 0, I smaller equal to 1, I plus equal 0.1, log I easing dot linear I and in dot in out quad I. Boom. And we can get rounding here. 0, 0, 8. Look at the last one. 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 9, 8, 1. It goes from 0 to 1. Why does it freaking bounce back down? What the heck? What the hell's going on here? If I just output progress here, it goes into the negatives? What the hell? Is it? What the frick? Oh, is it because it doesn't exceed 1? And then it doesn't fulfill our condition to finish the animation? Yeah, that's possible. But it should be greater or equal to 1. So maybe it never reaches 1 mathematically? Hey, T-Start17, how are you doing? Let's... I don't like it. I don't like that. So... let's do the... yeah. It's just called P. We'll have this. And then we'll have the eased version. Now this keeps on going forever, and let's see why. Because it never reaches... It never reaches exactly... Okay, so we want to calculate a raw progress, basically. And use that for our check here. So if we'll do something like raw progress without the easing, right? Then we can just do that here. Oh, oh, why? Why and what? We'll do that. Then we'll have this. We'll have that. No. The buttons I want to... No. We'll have that. And then we'll use raw progress here. Ah, okay. Alright, so the user functions were fine. I am not going crazy. We can do this progress. Here we go. Don't need that. Linear is just... It doesn't do anything here. And bonk. There we go. And that. Gone. Gone. In fact, I don't even just store that. I should have like a flag with the animation, like a complete, whatchamacallit, a flag of it being completed, right? So for example, here we have trigger start. What if we have a finish, right? And then we'll just do something like let progress equals that. If progress greater or equal to 1, anim.finish equals time, right? And we can do this. And then if animation.finish, if undefined not equal to that, and we'll splice it up. Boom. That'll work too. Get rid of this. Boom. Now we have the quad in ease in out, and there was a couple other ones. Ease I don't need a lot, you know, like an in and out, and that's it. Thing is, the quad seems to be... How did I get back here? The quad seems to be not as strong as I would like. Wind, ease, out, sign. Which are the strong ones? Exponential ease. Ease in, out, sign. It's kind of shallow. Exponential ease in, out. Exponential ease in, out. Expo. This one. Right. So if we'll do... We'll add that here. Oh, it looks like that article was just sort of translated to TypeScript, really. Elapsed is progress. Boom, 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 boom. Initial value is 0, 0, 0, and 0. Amount of change is 1, 1, 1. Duration is 1. And then we'll just say if p equals 0, return 0. 0 plus 1. Don't want to add 0 here, that's pointless. Divided by if p divided by half So multiply it by 2, smaller than 1. Right? 2.5. 0.5. And we'll just do this. We'll do 0. Else we'll do another one. 1. Else we'll do this guy. Then we'll do this. And finally, else we'll do this. A pow, right? And then these guys we don't need. Just a function of p. Same as these. I guess we can do the same thing here. Equals 2.5, 0.5, 0 plus 0. Right. Right. Something like that. Ooh. Broke something. What am I breaking? Failed to parse source function. Something ain't quite right. Am I missing a brace? Oh, look at that. Believe. Probably done with that. Right, and then we'll do is in out expo. Yeah. Well, that's a much snappier one. And now we'll just put the easing into here. We'll initialize them with delay duration, ease, linear. But now we're going to change it to ease in out expo. Right. And we'll do probably do something a little bit more like that. Let our nm equals that. If easing nm.ease it's undefined, we'll just set it to linear. Right, and then here the easing function will actually be nm.ease. Or we'll just say nm.easing equals easing nm.ease, or oops, easing.linear. We'll just do that. And then nm.easing is what we're going to use here. Like that. Or not. Do this, and I'll get this. What do I get? What do we get? What do we get? Nothing. nm.easing, we have an nm easing function, right? nm.start. So start nm part time. Huh? start anim. This doesn't happen. Animations.push anim. Is that what I was missing? There we go. Wow. There we go. And if I make it a second now. Yeah. That's not too bad. Okay. Alright. I can dodge the actual work now. So. This is our form. So after we slide it up, in theory, we gotta make this bigger, yada yada. Right now, is it a fixed height? Is it a fixed height? I believe so. Yeah. If I do it this way, actually, let's go to our sort of, yeah. So I think we here, here it won't even move much, right? It'll move just enough, just enough. We'll do something like this. Boom, right? 37. Yeah. And then we'll slide these guys in. And I'll have to think about how I'm going to do that. So I'll probably need to give them IDs, right? So let's start with the time. Your time. Your time, let's go. Right? And then we'll do this. Like that. And now this doesn't have the positioning I imagine I would want. So we'll probably do it with transform, so we don't have to worry about the positioning. And we'll probably just bring it in off screen from a little while. And we'll probably have to calculate where from. But right now, I just want to confirm that the animation system works the way we hope it does. We're going to do a delay. So we want to wait for this to slide up. And we'll do that quadratic. Is that what it was called? In out quad, right? And we don't need on start, I think, and we don't need on resize for now. We're not gonna care about that. And then we'll just do that for now. Directive test structure as it is undefined. 300 from 2. Okay. We'll just do anim for now. So that's our animation. Hey, guys. Hey, Poochie boy. Hey, Toby. Toby the puzzle dog is back home, which is my sign that I should start winding down the stream. Am I correct? Huh? Oh, okay. All right. Well, we just sort of put the animation system together. And let's just see it in action. So here we go. We need, so what I'm gonna do is we'll start at some arbitrary place and then bring it in by a certain amount. And we'll just transform and translate, right? So let translate y equal to we want to, let's say we want to go 2 0. So we'll do 1 minus m dot progress. That should end us up at 0. And we'll go from, let's say, 200 pixels over to the right. And then we'll just do this dot transform equals translate our x value, 0 on the y, and that's it. And that's an x, of course, not a y. Ah, not the puzzle. This one. Hey, look at that. Now, the question is, does it jump over to the side and then comes in? Yes. So I think I want an on in it as well. And the onInit basically fires before the delay. So basically it fires in here. Now we could call the onInit earlier, but let's try this first. If function onInit, and then here we can say onInit and log onInit, because that's when all the information is basically ready. Boom. We could do something to get it available earlier, now that I think about it. So this we can do in here now. So we can do anim, and we'll just do .el. Then this is anim.el. Yeah, don't need that anymore. And then we also want to translate this to 200. Look at that. Here. Maybe 300. Like that. And maybe we want to translate it by... This is 0. How far do we need to translate it out? The width of the... What, half the width? If I move this over... If it's the full width, and I move it over by half the width, that's not going to be enough. So we want to do it... document.query selector... selector... dot dialog... dot... get computed dot client width. Is that good enough? Window dot client width document dot client width document dot body dot. Okay, so we can probably can just do that. So we're gonna do anim dot from equals that, and then it'll be anim dot from yada 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 yada, and not for from boom. Oop. And we'll probably don't want to log that out or log that out. And then we probably want to overlap them. So we can bring this in after 300 milliseconds and bring it in a little faster. Something like that. Right? Maybe too fast. Something like that. Right? And then we can basically do the same thing with this. So, I don't know. Our time. For now. And then we'll basically do the same thing for part-time. But now we're going to bring it in from the other direction. So it's going to be minus. And then we'll stagger it. So we'll give this 200. We'll give this 500. We'll give this 300. And we'll give this... 900? Bing! That's basic. You have to imagine the bing, right? Now I just want to animate everything, right? So for example, what if the element we're gonna animate is, we're gonna do this height, we're gonna do we have a dialog class dot dialog, Let's pause these two guys for a sec. And we'll do it the other way around. Right. Now I think the dialogue might be trickier because I think the dialogue is using the transform. Wait, did it already happen? It's already happening. Look at that. And then this doesn't, we don't want to delay this one. We want to bring it in fairly quickly. Where's the other animation? Here. Let's bring that down. Like, animations. So this starts, this takes a second. Do it faster. This comes in from very far down. That's fine. And then if we add these in with the commensurate delays, we need to bring this in a little faster. And then we want to wait at least until it kind of fully stops. Maybe not quite. And of course, right now I'm just bringing in from way too far off screen, so it kind of takes a little longer than you... So there's a sort of an extra delay until it reaches the edge of the screen. Hey, look at that. All right, that's obviously not the end all be all of what it should look like, but at least it draws the eye. It gives us some opportunities of kind of arranging things. I wonder if we even want to bring the buttons off screen. So let's see if this what this looks like on an iPhone, kind of. I mean, what I really would want is the box to basically push the board up, right? And how would we... The problem with that is to align the timing and everything. It's a bit... You almost wanna... You basically have to calculate when the box would hit it, then start an animation for that for the remainder, or kind of break it into two parts. Box until touch, and then move them both up, right? But, you know, this is... Today was a bit of a tech... gonna say show episode. I didn't get to really play around with it just yet, and this is still a little clunky. So, it's not too much code for experimentation, but it's quite a bit. Like, you kind of almost want to kind of wrap these things up, like maybe create like a little helper and say, okay, move object X from here to here in that period, you know. I mean, this is something like GSAP does. I haven't used it in years, but I was very happy with using it for my card game like 10 years ago or something. And but the problem is it's also kind of, I don't know. I had I was missing things with it. Like it didn't have a timeline, like a kind of a timeline management system for overlapping multiple animations and making them depend on each other. And then there's a lot in it, and then it's missing stuff, and then you can't kind of... They won't let you fix certain things, so it's a little... But they might have fixed all of these things. And it was behind very much at the time, kind of with the latest standards for, especially for React and so on. I think they fixed all that. Even like just having modules and all that. That's probably all sorted now. Yeah, Webflow, WordPress, any other JS frameworks. Thing is, I don't use any frameworks, so raw would be nice. Yeah, but I think a little bit of animation sprinkled in, not too much, and quick. Like, I'm already, like, the fact that it just switches, it feels weird. Like, this feels much nicer, you know? It's kind of like the Mac effect. And I think maybe it's time for SudokuPad to grow up a little, and to become a little bit more professional, and leave its stage of adolescent output. Yeah. And maybe animation is just the sort of thing we need. I missed. There's a third thing. Maybe the button shouldn't be there. Maybe the button, I'm thinking also, can I scale the button? So if I look, okay, that's the last thing we'll do, and then we'll play a game, and then that's it. So if I grab dot dialog button, and then we'll transform scale 0, and then just becomes scale, 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 and we'll go from 0 to 1 for now. And we'll just do this. And then we'll delay it a little bit after the last one, and that's why I wanted these delays, right? So we have a delay of 900, duration of 800. So let's say at 1500, and we'll bring it in a little faster. And now I want to see if I have a bouncing easing function, right? So we want something like that overshoots and comes back. Something like that. So or yeah. So ease in out elastic, that sort of thing. Let's see if I can finagle that into what I need quickly. Ease out elastic, boom, boom. This is very, it almost feels like the TypeScript code was kind of, somebody took this and just modernized it. Let's just compactify this a little more. And B is our, already. What did they say? God damn it, why do they not label these properly? Starting position, so that's 0. Object has to move to 1, and the duration is 1. Right? Do this. Flat. If else flat. Huh? What? They used var twice on the same thing? Don't they know that that doesn't do anything? Alright, and then we'll return all of that down there. And I think I should be able to use that. And then if I can do that here. Sorry for the sound effects, but you gotta do them. Alright, it's too early. Alright. Okay. Sorry. This is entertaining to me. Oh, no, just want to refresh. Come on. Alright. How does that work on a larger layout? It looks silly, but you know, it does the thing. Alright. Okay, alright. Let us find something. Normally I play a game to test what I've done, but I don't think it applies here. And I've already played the... You know, let's play the New York Times art puzzle. I know that... And it's also kind of to test beta and everything. I know that Ranks does the videos, but... Let's be, you know... Just between you and me, let's be frank. Nobody's watching here, so I can do what I want. Just double checking. Okay, it's 2 viewers on Twitch, and there's a viewer on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure that's me. All right. So, and oh no. Okay, never mind. Let's just do it. This is New York Times hard. I generally manage them fairly well, unless they do something weird, and then I get stuck, and I cry, and then I ask Ranks for help. No, not really. Don't bother. Don't ask Ranks for help with your puzzles. Actually, I don't know. Maybe that's something. Maybe that's a thing he does. Maybe it's a service he provides. Oh, 5-7. We've got a 5-7 pair already. So then these are 8-6, right? And they are resolved. Look at that. Look at that. So maybe now we got a few more 6s in here. Aha. 6, 8. Yes. Here we go, and here we go, I guess. All right, 5 and 7s. We got anything else here? 8, and we didn't look at 9s yet. 9 over here. Other than that, yeah. All right. I think this column is most promising at this stage. 5, 7, 9. This actually is more promising. I didn't even see that. And it's just so close. No cigar. We've got 4 missing from here, and yes, I will sometimes. Ooh, no, I will sometimes mark that when I'm in a hurry, and I am in a hurry. So that's a 4-9 pair now. 6 out of 7. 5-7. All right, that's good. Good. 3. 1-9. All right, and we have a 1 down here. And 2, 3, 4 over here with the 2 resolved, and the rest now is probably going to be fairly easy. And I think we're just gonna do this, fill these in, go down the digits until they're all fill in these. Let's fill in these naughty digits. All the naughty digits will get filled in. 5, 8 here, 2, 7, and 9. Happy little digits going everywhere. And if you're wondering why I said naughty earlier, well, I'm happy now. Feel that naughty digits must be happy digits. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me. All right, 1, 5, 7, 8. 8's not here, 5's not there, 1's not there, 5's not there. Not as nice as I had hoped. Oh, 4 here. 2, 8, 9. Oh, also not very nice. Okay. These 4. 2, 3, 4, and 7. We got 3 down there. 8. 4, 9 over here. Something going on down there. Something going on there. 9s or 4s or 2s. With one of those digits. You know, one of those numbers is a digit. I'm kind of looking where the columns and line rows cross, but there isn't a lot to go on actually. We've got 3 here. We've got 4 here. We've got 3 here. 3 here. What are these? All right, 3, 9 out of here. That's nice. 4 out of these 2. That's nice too. There's a 9 over here. 4, 3. Oh man, what am I missing here? 4, 5. Something with 5s and 8s maybe. Something happening in row 5 here. All right, I'm gonna bite the bullet. That's looks horrendous. Really not a lot of progress at all. Probably just made things worse. That wasn't a good idea. We have 3, 8, 5. So 3, 8, 5, 5, 8, 7, 4, and 6. 4 and 6. All right, so we've got here we have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Not impressive, really. 3 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Oh, 3 digits. Down to 3 digits. We need to do better than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Also 3 digits. All 3 digits. You know what? I'm just gonna I'm gonna go ballistic here and hope for the best, because I am late now. And I thought this was gonna be a quick one, and it's already taken too long. Fours. Four. Oof. 8, 1, 7. 1, 3, 8. 7. 2, 7, 9. 7, 9. My microphone is picking up everything that's happening in the kitchen. Hope you guys don't hear that. 3. Wow, the left side of the board just came together so quickly. And now it's expecting me to do work. Oh, wait, what? How did I not see the 7s? That. Alright, not work, just, you know, looking. Basic looking. Alright. I think, yeah, so that should get us forward much more quickly. 8 and 5. 1 over here. 2 over there. 5 over there. 7, 6 here. 3, 4. 3, 6. All the 2s are gone from there. Alright. 2, 7, a 1. What's a 1 here? Are we done with the 1s? Yes, 6s are almost done. 9s. 8, 9. 2, 9. 3. Oh, up on the screen. Ooh, it was there. The 3 or 7. Alright, I think 6s are done now. 7s are almost done. Actually, what are these? 3, 7, and 8, huh? 7, 8, 2, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9. Okay, that can't be a 8, so that's a 3, 8, 9, 8, 9, 2, 7. Whoa, wrong column. 8 and 2, 3, 7, 4, 9, 7, 2, 9, 4, and 2. Oh, 9, 9, and 2. There we go, like that. And that's it for today. Let's hope these animations will make it into the game sooner rather than later. Thanks for hanging out, guys. And have a nice rest. Yeah. Bye-bye.